Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
It's time to catch up with my good friend and Sky commentator Grant Nisbett. Nisbo, how are you? You've been down the coast and you've got a bit of whitebait?
G'day, Ron. Yeah, we had a good time actually down there. We caught a wee bit. Pretty important to have good weather if you're trying to whitebait, as anyone listening will understand. And we actually did have 3 good days. There was a wee bit running down there, so we had a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good. I know you love it. Boy, you've been going down there for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we worked it out 14 years now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's good. Mate, let's talk a little bit of rugby, and we'll talk from last night, really. Argentina gone, and in fact, I was a bit disappointed with the way they played so far in this competition. They beat the USA, but boy, they've been pretty ordinary, haven't they?
Well, they have been, and they were already in the Rugby Championship. You might remember we took a bit of a B-grade team over there, and we struggled to beat them. But apart from that, they've been pretty ordinary in the Rugby Championship, and which is in direct contrast to the way the Hawaris played in the Super Rugby. And they're pretty much the same players. I just wonder whether they put so much effort into the Super Rugby, and they made the final, as we know, but I think we expected that to transfer into the Pumas, but it certainly hasn't, and so they're gone already, which is disappointing because they generally make it past the pool stage. I know it was a toughish group, but they got narrowly beaten by France right at the start, and that was probably the death knell for them. So, they're gone, and of course we've got the news today that the typhoon, which is expected to hit Japan over the next few days, has cancelled a couple of games, including the All Blacks. So it's all a bit unprecedented, really, but I guess the World Cup organisers knew when they awarded this competition to Japan that the likelihood of a typhoon is fairly great. I've just heard Steve Hansen say that they have about 25 a year. Well, that's a pretty high ratio.
Certainly is. No, I'm not going to live there, mate, I'll tell you. I'm not.
No.
Okay. Wales, Scotland winning over Russia, which is good for them as they head into the weekend, but they might have problems too. And Wales, they struggled a little bit, but knocked over Fiji just.
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't see that. It was a late game, so I didn't see it. But when I heard the score, I think it was 29-17 or something, I was pretty surprised, I've got to be honest with you. I thought they'd do a decent job on Fiji, who have been a bit up and down in this tournament. They were quite competitive against Australia. Then, of course, they lost to, who was it, Japan or somebody. I lose track of who's beaten who half the time, but Wales went into this tournament. I think at the start of the tournament, they're the world number 1 team, but they haven't really played like it. But hey, in just over a week, when the quarterfinals get cracking, we'll find out who's in form and who's not.
Yeah, that's for sure. But it's really changed things around. I mean, the All Blacks Italy game gone, England France game gone as well, and Japan and Scotland on Sunday is expected to go ahead. Now that is a huge game for Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, look, earlier today they were saying they might cancel that game, and I'm thinking that's really tough on Scotland. They've got absolutely no chance to qualify unless they play and beat Japan. So at least they're going to. Sounds like at least they're going to get a chance to either make the quarterfinals or dip out. I think it's a 50-50 game, that one. The way Japan are playing, you wouldn't be surprised if they beat Scotland, but on the other hand, you wouldn't be surprised if Scotland beat Japan. So that's probably the most decisive game coming up in the next 10 days or so.
Well, what has happened, of course, is that 2 of the 4 quarterfinals are as good as locked in. Australia, Georgia, or Wales, Uruguay, games in Pool D. England will face Australia in one quarterfinal, and Wales will be against France in the other.
Yeah, and I think we're pretty much locked in against Ireland. I guess that depends very much on what happens with Japan. And I don't think the All Blacks would be too concerned about Ireland, not the way Ireland are playing at this tournament. 12 months ago they would have been concerned about it because Ireland were playing well. I think they won the Six Nations. They beat us in Dublin. But they seem to have just fallen off the perch a wee bit, and I think it's probably expectation and also the fact that they're a bit of an ageing group and might be 12 months over the top. So But there are going to be some intriguing quarters, no question.
No, it's for sure. It certainly should be that. I just want to change tack a little bit here and talk a little bit of basketball. New Zealand should be pretty proud of Mr. Adams. If stars aligned, OKC Thunder would be open to Stephen Adams playing for the Tallbacks, which would be great. I mean, he's wanted to and then hasn't got to do it, but it would be great if he could.
Yeah, well, they're paying him a lot of money, obviously, OKC, and so they have probably 100% say in what he does and what he doesn't do. And you noticed at the recent World Championships basketball that the US, a lot of their star players didn't go, and as a consequence, they weren't very good. A New Zealand basketball team with Stephen Adams in it would be very, very good. I mean, they're not too bad now, but obviously it just gives you that international flavour and that experience, et cetera, et cetera. So it is going to be interesting to see how this NBA season unfolds because, of course, the OKC have lost Paul George and Russell Westbrook, and you just wonder, with paying Adams so much, whether they might jettison him at some stage and free up money to start buying again. Where he goes, or if he goes, it's going to be one of the intriguing aspects of the NBA this season.
It certainly is, mate. As always, great to talk to you. You have a good weekend, won't you, mate? And we'll catch you next week.
Good on you, Ron. Cheers.
Okay, that's Grant Nisbett with us here on the beach.
106.3 Beach FM.